Assalamu alaikum, dear students. It is 10th of August 2021. It's Tuesday. It's class 11th, subject education. Dear students, as you know, we are discussing the initiatives of elementary education. What initiatives were taken to develop the elementary education in the country. Several initiatives were taken. One of the initiatives, recent initiatives rather we can say, was Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. We discussed this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan yesterday with aims and objectives. And today we are going to discuss the framework, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan as a framework and as a program. Why was this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan started rather, how it was to be implemented, how it was to be extended to all parts of the country, how it was implemented in different states of our country, what was the purpose, what were the guidelines. Dear students, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan or SSA has two aspects. Number one is it provides a wide convergent framework for implementation of elementary education scheme. Number second is it is also a program with budget provision for strengthening vital areas to achieve universalization of education. While all investments in the elementary education sector from the state and the central plans will reflect as part of the SSA framework, they will all merge into the SSA program within the next few years. As a program, it reflects the additional resource provision for universalization of elementary education. Broad strategies central to SSA program. Dear students, institutional reforms. As part of the SSA, the central and the state government will undertake reforms in order to improve efficiency of the delivery system. The states will have to make an objective assessment of their prevalent educational system, including educational administration, achievement levels in schools, financial issues, decentralization, and community ownership. Review to State Education Act, rationalization of teacher, deployment and recruitment of teachers, monitoring and evaluation, status of education of girls, SC, ST, and disadvantaged groups, policy regarding private schools and ECCE, early childhood care and education. Many states have already carried out several changes to improve the delivery system of elementary education. Dear students, number second is sustainable financing. Dear students, the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan is based on the promise that financing of elementary education investment in interventions has to be sustainable. This calls for a long-term perspective on financial partnership between the central and the state governments. Number third is community ownership. The program calls for community ownership of school-based interventions through effective decentralization. This will be augmented by involvement of women's groups, VEC members, and members of Panchayati Raj institutions. So this was the framework, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan as a framework and as a program. Dear students, let's discuss one more initiative, that is right of children to free and compulsory education, RTE. Let's try to understand what is an RTE, right of children to free and compulsory education. Dear students, right of children to free and compulsory education Act 2009 marks a historic moment for the children of India. For the first time in India's history, children will be guaranteed their right to quality elementary education by the state with the help of families and communities. Dear students, few countries in the world have such a national provision to ensure child centered, child friendly education to help all children develop to their fullest potential. There were an estimated 8 million 6 to 14-year-old olds in India out of school in 2009. The world cannot reach its goal to have every child complete primary school by 2015 without India. India's education system over the past few decades has made significant progress. According to India's education for all mid-decade assessment, in just 5 years between 2000 and 2005, India increased primary school enrollment overall by 13.7% and by 19.8% for girls, reaching close to universal enrollment in grade 1. Even with these commendable efforts, 1 in 4 children left school before reaching grade 5 and almost half before reaching grade 8 in 2005. Learning assessment show the children who do remain in school are not learning the basics of literacy and numeracy or the additional skills necessary for their overall development. RTE provides a ripe platform to reach the unreached with specific provisions for disadvantaged groups such as child laborers, migrant children, children with special needs, or those who have a disadvantage owing to social, cultural, economical, geographical, linguistic, gender, or such other factor. RTE focuses on the quality of teaching and learning, which requires accelerated efforts and substantial reforms. Creative and sustained initiatives are crucial to train more than 1 million new and untrained teachers within the next 5 years and to reinforce the skills of existing teachers to ensure child-friendly education. Dear students, bringing 8 million out-of-school children into classes at the age-appropriate level with the support to stay in school and succeed poses a major challenge. Substantial efforts are essential to eliminate disparities and ensure quality with equity. For example, investing in preschool is a key strategy. Families and communities also have a large role to play to ensure child friendly education for each and every one of the estimated 190 million girls and boys in India who should be in elementary schools today. School management committees made up of parents, local authorities, teachers, and children themselves will need support to form school development plans and monitoring. The inclusion of 50% women and parents of children from disadvantaged groups in these committees should help overcome past disparities. Let's try to define the Right to Education Act 2009. The right to education has been universally recognized since the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, through referred, though referred by the ILO as early as the 1920s, and has since been enshrined in various international conventions, national constitutions, and development plans. However, while the vast majority of countries have signed up to and ratified international conventions such as the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, for fewer have integrated these rights into their national constitution or provided the legislative and administrative frameworks to ensure that these rights are realized in practice. In some cases, the right exists along with the assumption that the user should pay for this right, undermining the very concept of right of a right. In others, the right exists in theory, but there is no capacity to implement this right in practice. Inevitably, a lack of government support for the right to education hits the poorest hardest. Today, the right to education is still denied to millions around the world. As well as being a right in itself, the right to education is also an enabling right. Education creates the voice through which rights can be claimed and protected, a part of the living. If people have protected and without education people lack the capacity to achieve valuable functionings, a part of the living. If people have access to education, they can develop the skills, capacity, and confidence to secure other rights. Education gives people the ability to access information, detailing the range of rights that they hold and government's obligations. It supports people to develop the communication skills to demand these rights, the confidence to speak in a variety of forms, and the ability to negotiate with a wide range of government officials and power holders. Dear students, this is all for today. Inshallah, tomorrow we will take up some other topic. Till then, bye. Assalamu alaikum.